Good morning, campers. Let's do a reading. I grabbed these decks to see what's going on with this collective, so you also know this is your collective. I'm not hearing much, which is unlike me as we open a channel. But maybe it's because you're sitting in a quiet moment. Maybe it's because not much is going on, or maybe we're just waiting for the cards to be on the table. So let's see what's going on. Hold on. I didn't light up my incense. This cannot be. Hold on. We need some fire. All right. What's going on with this collective? What's going on with this collective? What's going on? One more. Okay, we have the dragonfly transformation. That's a really nice energy to start from. So maybe there is something that is shifting and transforming. And I was seeing sort of this card separately. It's the only one that also felt face down. And these, if you saw it, they went towards this direction. So I feel like this energy is something that maybe you're transforming from. And we have some challenging energy here. We have the runner, a fear of intimacy, running away, intensity, letting go, turmoil, fleeting. So we have the runner. We have the golden mirror, love bombing, self-absorbed, one-sided, narcissist. I don't like that that label, but let's deal with it. And we have addiction, codependent, obsession. Okay, now I'm hearing it. Possession, control, emotional block, and we have outdated thinking, conditioning, replaying events. Okay, so what I am hearing for this collective, maybe there's a reason I was sensing that there is not much going on. However, I am now hearing that not much going on in the physical world. So you would be someone that you don't really yet fully understand the inner shift. You don't really yet understand. So you would be someone that when you're saying that not much is going on, it probably means that you're not going out much, that you're not partying much, that you're not seeing many people, seeing much other people, right? But you're not understanding fully that it is the inner transformation that sometimes brings the biggest change into our life, right? So maybe you're getting out a bit of that distraction kind of lifestyle. I am seeing a little bit of my lust card. Maybe we'll do a bit of emotion for you in a moment. But I'm hearing that all this energy, right? So fear of intimacy, shallow relationships, love bombing, one-sided relationships, codependent relationships. It's something conditioned, right? It's something that you're trying to, it's a pattern that you're trying to break free. So maybe recently something happened that you're right now sitting in this place of analyzing your past relationships. Maybe you're realizing, you know how we always say that when people complain that why do I always attract that kind of a person, that type of a man, that type of a woman? It is exactly that. Why do you attract? Because it is you. It is you who attract. It's not like all men are this or women are that, right? It's you attract certain type of people. There's 8 billion people and there's variety of people in this world, right? So if you see a pattern within a past relationship, it's because you attract that pattern, you accept that pattern. So maybe it's something that was brought recently to your attention, and right now you're trying to sort of analyze that pattern, break free from that pattern. Maybe I'm hearing for some of you that for the first time in your life, you're actually not engaging in any kind of dating, talking, flirting, constantly being with someone. It's like your dating life is on pause, like your life past dating life, romance, love life is on pause, right? For a review, and it's a good thing for a good reason. We're gonna do another row in a moment, but I am feeling that you would be someone that in the past, maybe you would attract relationships that were very intense, full of love bombing. It seemed like someone is like really giving you a lot of attention. Maybe that attention disappears. Lack of that true maturity, true consistency. Maybe you started analyzing why those relationships were like that, and you started realizing that there is a bit of a toxic trait, that it means that usually people who attract those kind of relationships are people people who really fear intimacy, because when you truly fear, and that's the first thing that sort of opened my channel and I looked at, fear of intimacy. When we fear intimacy, right, we don't really want to stand in front of someone who is very mature, who is very vulnerable, who has a huge and open heart, really willing to love to the maximum of that heart's capacity, because we're afraid of that. We have that fear of commitment and an intimacy. I'm hearing father wound, but we're not going to go there for now. So maybe you started realizing that you've created that those relationships that you had in the past were a little bit toxic. Let's go on. We have separation. I feel like the separation, because it's on top of that dragonfly, I don't hear that as we normally say about a specific person. I hear this is more of a separating yourself from your past traits, from your past, that the dating life, that love life, that constantly being. We have a mirror. That's beautiful. And we have two mirrors. Maybe it's a detail. Maybe you recently broke a mirror or bought a mirror. I'm seeing someone like hanging like a huge mirror. Maybe it's a detail for some of you. But I feel like this is the moment of your life when you're starting to realize that, again, what do I always say to you guys? This is the most beautiful moment of our lives, and many people won't ever reach that moment. When we finally take that finger, and instead of doing this person, I attract, men are dogs, men are pigs, women always want commitment, people, me. Why do I accept that? Why did I attract that in the first place? It's a reflection of something within me that I haven't conquered. Of inner wounds, reminiscing. So you would be sitting in a sort of a review of your past. Review of your past. Sunglasses. Changing perception. Looking closer, I'm hearing as well at certain things. Learning, I'm hearing as well. That's on top of that addiction. Sword and rose. Clarity, truth, revelation, confirmation. And my incense just fell. That's exactly that. This collective, you would be sitting in a moment of realization. I don't think you still know that you are in that moment of transformation. I don't think you realize how powerful of a transformation this will be if you will really go the right direction. We will do... I'm hearing now guidance, and I'm hearing now to do a bit of a deep dive into that pattern, into that trait, so that the model maybe of the person that you would attract. But clarity and truth, you had that revelation. Something happened that made you stop and look in the past and realize, why was I never, you're probably one of those people, right? Why was I never single? Why am I constantly connecting to someone, dating someone, engaging, but I never can get that true love? Even if you were for longer periods of time in certain relationships, right? But true relationship, people can be decades in a relationship, but the relationship will lack true intimacy, true vulnerability, right? The fact that you sometimes we can have 5 days with someone and really feel that vulnerability, that intimacy, that those depths, right? So it's not about what is sent to us by destiny, or it's not about the length of a relationship. It's about how much we're willing to open our hearts and how important of a soul tie the person in front of us is. Because if it is, even when we are wounded, but we come across a true soul relationship, it always pushes us a little more to open up. But if it's karmic relationships, I feel like this collective, most of your relationships would be karmic. We'll tap into that in a moment. It's just lessons that are going to reflect your shadows, that are going to reflect your wounds that have not been healed, those patterns that the universe truly wants you to break. All right, I want to do on top of that to confirm, and again, pictures. So maybe you're looking at old pictures, you're going through like your old relationships, your old partners, sort of trying to see certain traits. I want to do these, but maybe we'll hold on. I will put that aside, and we're gonna sort of dive into that pattern. Dive into that pattern. We're gonna do a little bit of tarot, a little bit of these, to see what was that pattern. And I keep looking and thinking about my love cards, so maybe we'll do that too. All right, pattern in your relationships. Pattern in your relationships. Denial. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be laughing. Denial. You were in denial. You were in denial. You're probably someone that thought that all your relationships were passionate. Maybe you thought that, that the reason that they were toxic is because they were true and deep and the passion was just so uncanny. This is why, you're one of those people that meet someone and it's a classic. I'm sorry. I do not want to really be that sort of but maybe you're ready for some harsh truths. Like those people that meet someone and it's a classic karmic relationship, so there's immediate this attraction, there's love bombing, they cannot it's attraction and it's so intense, it seems so intense, but if you look at it from an outside observer, there's no actual raw vulnerability, there's no heart opening, right? It's just all on the level of that lust that I mentioned, right? So, but those people, they tell themselves, because they are in denial, that this must be true relationship. Maybe you even met someone that you thought that was your higher soulmate or twin flame, right? I acknowledge my fear, but I replace it with the insight of awareness. That's what you're going to be doing now. It was fear. It was fear to face your shadows. It was fear to face that it was you who attracted these partners. But it's beautiful. However many tough love I'm going to throw at you in this reading, I want you to know that the fact that you're breaking free, this is the most difficult thing that you're going to do. It's so courageous. So many people, most people will stay there. They will stay their entire lives thinking that this person was the one that got away because he was my twin flame or my true soulmate, but it was too intense, right? And they're gonna denial. You no longer want to be in denial. But that's something that was present in all of your relationship. You could never see them for what they were. And I keep hearing as well that maybe you still need to heal that. But I keep hearing that you would confuse actual red flags, toxic traits into passion. That's why I was seeing my lust card, because lust is completely different from passion. And people who are in denial, they tell themselves that lust is passion, but passion is never deprived of spirit. And spirit is something that exists in true relationships that are full of love and commitment and a true soul tie. There is no passion, true passion between karmic relationships. There's lust. All right, let's go on. We have abundance. Something specific came to my mind. Imagination. All right. What came to my mind, I'm going to try to be very gentle with you, right? But remember, the biggest enemy of awakening and of change is denial. And when we remove denial, we have to face our shadows. And sometimes we have to stand in front of that mirror, right? Maybe even some of you, it's coming to my mind. Remember we were talking about that mirror? Maybe some of you bought somewhere online or in some sort of a witchy magic store, a black mirror or some sort of a mirror that someone told you that it's supposed to help you to reflect your shadow if you gaze in it. If you're not a pro at those kind of things, don't go there. It can only, using a black mirror is something for pros. It's a divination tool, right? So keep that in mind. But just a side note, maybe for some of you it's relevant. But what I was hearing with this abundance, and that's something that may trigger you a little bit, but I want you to be open-minded and really think about this. I would say that this collective, when you would look at your potential partner, material and financial status would actually impress you. And you would say to yourself that this is because we live in a world that if someone works hard, they always have confirmation that they always have money. That we live in a world, maybe you live in one of those countries that people say that. People sometimes, when people live in more developed countries, they start to forget that there's many stories to this world. That there are many places in this world where this world is not yet of equal opportunities, right? So maybe you would say to yourself that, there's jobs everywhere, and if someone is ambitious and if someone wants to grow, that dedicate themselves. So especially if you watching our women, and we talk about men, this distorted world that we live in associates masculinity with financial status, which is very far away from truth. And if you watch me, you know that I constantly, I don't want to go there right now into this topic, but we constantly talk about this, that true masculinity is about attracting abundance, but not in form of only dollars on your bank account. It's about resilience. It's about creativity, of problem solver kind of a mindset, right? It's not about actual money on your bank account. So maybe you had the tendency to gravitate towards men who had better financial status. People, I feel like this collective is mostly females, gravitate towards men who have that financial status, and thinking that this means that they manage their world well, that they're intelligent and successful, which is not true. And I'm hearing with this imagination that you would have a very developed imagination, and you would be a dreamer. So maybe you're one of those people, and in all your relationships, at the moment you would meet someone, you would already go into thinking, this is the love of all my lifetimes, this is the person, finally, this is right. It's like with every, you would do that. This is what I'm hearing. I'm sorry that you would do this with every person. And as many people you actually dated and connected to in this life, it's like you never notice a pattern until now, right? Like those women that they're in between relationships, and they really talk very, very bad about their exes. Like, oh my God, he was such an egoist, he was such a big, he was this and that, a narcissist, and da 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 da. And then they're already connecting to someone, and oh my God, this one is so different. He is so confirmation. He is he's so successful, he's so considerate, he is so emotionally mature. And they're not remembering that when they met the previous one, the ex, they would say the exact same thing. When they met the ex, the pig and the narcissist, that the pig and the narcissist was so sensitive and so different, so calm and so wonderful, and my soulmate, right? But don't worry and don't get triggered by what I'm saying, because you're getting out of this denial, which is a good thing. And if you truly want to get out of this denial, you really have to face all this. You really have to face the truth. So maybe you are someone that your imagination, you get carried away. The moment you meet someone, he's already the love of your life, and you're going to have this amazing future. Maybe overall, I'm hearing you're someone that likes to present things for more what they are, so if it's those extremes as well. So if something is bad, it's going to be like the worst, right? Like those people that describe something and with such a exaltation, and you think that it's going to blow your mind, and it's just a regular thing and a normal thing, right? And being that kind of a quality is really beautiful, to be honest, you guys, when it's in balance. This imagination, this appreciation for life. So someone who is sitting on their porch with a cup of coffee and is able to present this, oh my God, this breathtaking view and this amazing delicious coffee. It's actually amazing. It means that you appreciate life, but only when it's balanced, which means that you are appreciating and you're introducing that excitation, that exaltation towards things that are actually beautiful. But when you're seeing things straight, right? I want to do a couple more. Let's continue. I feel like there's a lot of answers in this deck. We have change. That's beautiful. We have change. I understand that nothing can grow and evolve without movement. I feel like you're understanding now that the movement is internal movement, the internal shift. Perseverance. I know that I can do whatever I set my mind to, and that's on top of that denial. I feel this collective, you're a little scared. You're starting to realize certain things, and maybe you even, I'm hearing at moments, you feel a little silly, you feel a little stupid, but this is, you have to overcome this. There's a reason this reading found you, and I say this all the time, and there's even a denial card in my deck. Again, I'm going to try to pull a couple of these for you, maybe it will pop up. And it explains that the denial is a very dark shadow. And when we stand in front of moments in life, when we are about to see things clearly, like you are, fear pushes us towards denial because we start to feel shame. How did I not see this before? How did I not notice this before? And many people choose to stay in that denial because they prefer to lie to themselves even. And in time, the more you are in denial, the more you convince yourself towards your own lies, right? That all those exes were horrible, that it was them, it wasn't me, right? The more you do that, the more you actually start to believe in it. The more you overwrite the voice of truth, the more you silence the voice of truth, and then the ego takes over. This is why I explained to you guys that in life, we have that window of opportunity, that one window of opportunity to move from physical karma and spiritual karma. And this is where you exactly are. This is the moment where we start awakening to a certain degree, seeing certain things, noticing these patterns, and we stand in front of a choice. Am I going to choose to get out of this denial and start to really clear my karma, understand that it was me, that I have to change, that I have to evolve, that I have to look inside of me, that it was all just a reflection of what I need to change? Or I'm going to choose fear and I'm going to stay in this denial. And if you stay in this denial, again, you convince yourself more and more and more, and that window of opportunity to ever move to that spiritual karma closes. And you're going to stay in denial to the rest of your days. And you're going to convince yourself, completely numbing the voice of the soul, and the ego will take over completely. The ego is the side of the physical karma. You will stay on a level of physical karma in this lifetime, and you won't ever learn that there's a reason you're here. There's a reason this video found you. It's to give you courage to move on. Yes, you can achieve everything. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult to face everything, to face every single past, partner, lover, fling, to really analyze it in the context of you, not in the context of them. But it's the only option, it's the only gateway to ever find that true love and that true soulmate. Otherwise, all you're going to attract will be karmics. It's just that you're going to tell yourself that they're twin flames or that they, soulmates. Hold on. Sorry. Let's do a couple more and then we're going to do guidance. Empathy, and that's on top of that abundance. I'm open to seeing both sides of situation. There's something in it, you guys, and I know it's difficult, and I know many people, I've met many people and I've worked with some people who were in that mindset, and they weren't bad people. They had good hearts, they had great potential, but it's as well, especially in some countries, right? It's the conditioning. It's the world that tells you from childhood. Maybe even you had those parents that they would tell you from childhood that if someone didn't go to university and doesn't have a good job, they're losers, they're just lazy because the work is out there on the street, right? But you guys, it's not true. You cannot judge someone but what they've achieved. I feel like this collective, and that's what I'm hearing, that you wouldn't even consider dating someone who was, I don't know, a physical worker, like someone who works as, I don't know, as on like a construction work or a delivery guy, or I know I keep hearing gardener, right? So you wouldn't even consider that. Maybe you grew up with a, that's why it might be there. I don't think we have time in this reading to go there, but that's what I was hearing, that father, well, maybe your father was someone who, it can be both ways I'm hearing. So either your father was someone who was successful and created that model of a man, that the true man is successful and has money because money's on the street, you just need to go and figure it out. Or I don't know why I was hearing maybe actually struggled and was, I'm hearing immigrants as well. So maybe this is how you convince yourself that you want a different life, you want a better life, or maybe your father actually or your parents were telling you this, that you have to find yourself, or your mother I'm hearing as well. I'm hearing many things, so it may be many. It's like, this is the beauty of connecting to a collective. Suddenly we're at this point when I'm hearing many ways that could bring you to that mindset. So it could be your mother saying that, oh my God, you have to find yourself better than your father, then look at me, I'm so struggling. Or maybe actually your father was saying to you that find yourself, because it's difficult, and a true man, I never achieved that, but I want that for you, creating that mindset. But it's not true. It's lacking true empathy. It's lacking understanding that people are in different life situations, that we come from different parts of this world, that we come from different families. We were submitted to different conditioning. We were submitted to different wounds. It's also something, it's, I don't want to even go there, but it's not true. It's something that you have to examine. It's a shadow. Courage. You need to activate courage within, because it's scary. Choosing love is scary. Choosing true love, not going towards fear and denial, but choosing love, which is I love myself enough to face my shadows, because whatever pushed me to make these choices are my shadows, and those shadows are part of me. And it requires courage to look in the eye of your shadow and give it love and accept it, to really understand it, to transmute it into something beautiful. Like I said, with that imagination, you would have so many beautiful qualities, but they are ruled by fear right now instead of love. I find the inner strength to face fear with confidence. One more. We have two. Loneliness and service. I feel good when I can help other people. You know what I'm hearing with this one? And it's on top of that change. I feel you're having this change. It's a beautiful change. There's a lot of purple color. So it may be that, there is a bit of a crown activation within you. It's not going to be a full activation, because I always say this to you guys, as long as we have imbalance on our lower chakras, and it's not like you are completely dormant and in denial and then you have a crown activation, right? And crown is a very powerful chakra, and it's the last one to fully flourish because it connects us to God and to the divine fully. But what the energy that the open crown brings and carries is knowing that we don't come here to receive. We're not entitled. That entitlement that I always explain to you guys, that I deserve a better love, a better partner. But it's about what can I give. So with that service, I feel like it's very, very, right? But maybe you already have moments to think, maybe I should change my mindset. Maybe instead of thinking, what these men could do to me, how could I be a better partner, right? So maybe you're starting to think how you can change and transform, instead of just sitting in this mindset, I want a man that has a car, I want a man that has a good job, I want a man that you know what I mean? And there's loneliness. I think that is something also that scares you, because if you truly are someone that you've never been on your own in this life, that you have always been dating, always connecting